I've always been a creature of habit. Same alarm time, 6:30 a.m. sharp. Same black coffee, 2 sugars. Same route to work, same podcast playing. My life is a meticulously arranged symphony of repetition, and honestly, I like it that way. It's predictable, it's safe, or at least it was. It started subtly, so subtly, I almost missed it. I'd be pulling out of my driveway, and a flash of movement would catch my eye from the house across the street. A blue sedan, identical to mine, pulling out at the exact same moment. I'd shrug it off. Coincidence, right? A lot of people leave for work around 7:15. But then it happened again. And again. Every single morning, like clockwork. Our cars would back out in perfect synchrony. 2 dancers in a bizarre automotive ballet. I started to pay more attention. The guy who lived there, I didn't know his name. He was a quiet man, kept to himself. We'd exchanged maybe a handful of nods over the 2 years I'd lived here. Now, his schedule seemed to be merging with mine. The lunchtime runs were next. I always go for a jog at precisely 12:30 p.m., a 3-mile loop around the park near my office. A week after noticing the car thing, I saw him. Across the park, a figure in a gray tracksuit running. My tracksuit is gray. His pace seemed to match mine. When I sped up, he sped up. When I slowed down, he slowed. It felt like I was staring at a distant reflection. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic rhythm that had nothing to do with the exercise. I told myself I was being paranoid. It's a public park. He has every right to be there. But the coincidences kept piling up, becoming too numerous, too specific to ignore. My grocery day is Saturday, 10 a.m. The following Saturday, there he was, pushing a cart down the same aisle, reaching for the same brand of oat milk. He glanced at me, his face a complete blank, and then continued on. It was unnerving. He was a ghost, haunting the edges of my routine. Even my evenings were no longer my own. I get home at 6:05 p.m. I started waiting in my car, just for a second, watching. At 6:05 p.m., his blue sedan would pull into his driveway. The precision was chilling. One evening, I decided to test it. I drove around the block an extra 5 times, pulling into my driveway at 6:23 p.m. I held my breath, and then headlights swept across my lawn, his car. 6:23 p.m. He got out, didn't even look in my direction, and walked inside. That's when the fear really took root. This wasn't a coincidence. This was deliberate. He was mirroring me. But why? Was it a bizarre obsession? Some kind of psychological game? My mind raced through a dozen terrifying possibilities, each one darker than the last. I started changing things up. I left for work at 7 a.m. He was right behind me. I went for my run at 1 p.m. He was there. I even tried ordering takeout from a new place on a Tuesday night, something I'd never done before. As the delivery driver was leaving my porch, another one pulled up to his house. My life, my predictable, safe life, had become a shared performance. I was the lead actor, and he was my understudy, learning every line, every movement, every breath. The comfort I once found in my routine was gone, replaced by a constant, gnawing anxiety. I felt watched, perpetually. My own home no longer felt like a sanctuary. I'd find myself peeking through the blinds, my heart leaping into my throat every time I saw a light flick on in his house right after I turned on mine. I thought about calling the police. But what would I say? "Excuse me, officer," my neighbor. "Goes to the grocery store at the same time as me?" They think I was crazy, and maybe I was. Maybe the stress was getting to me, making me see patterns that weren't there. I tried to convince myself of that, I really did. But the evidence was overwhelming. Last night was when everything shattered. It had been a particularly stressful day. The feeling of being watched was so intense it was almost a physical weight. I got home, locked the door, drew all the curtains, and poured myself a stiff drink. I sat in the dark, trying to quiet the frantic drumbeat in my head. I just wanted one night of peace. One night where I felt like I was alone. I must have dozed off on the couch because I woke up with a start. The house was dead silent. The only light was the faint glow of a street lamp filtering through a gap in the curtains. I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature. You know that feeling you get? The one that tells you you're not alone? It was screaming at me. My eyes scanned the darkened living room. Everything was as I'd left it. The empty glass on the coffee table, the TV remote, the stack of mail, nothing out of place. I slowly, quietly stood up. My gaze drifted towards the window, the one facing his house. I don't know why I looked. A morbid curiosity, I guess. I pulled the curtain back just a fraction of an inch and peered out. His house was dark, just as you'd expect. But then I saw it, a movement. Not in his house, but in mine, a reflection in the glass. Standing behind me in the middle of my living room was a figure. It was him, my neighbor. My blood ran ice cold. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I was frozen, trapped in a nightmare. He didn't move either. He just stood there, a dark silhouette in the gloom. And then he did something that broke me. He slowly raised a hand and gave a little wave, not to me. He was waving at the reflection in the window, my reflection. And in the glass, I saw my own reflection wave back. My scream was silent, trapped in my throat. I stumbled backward, away from the window, my eyes locked on the figure. How did he get in? The door was locked, the windows were closed. My mind was a whirlwind of panic. I fumbled for my phone, my fingers shaking so badly I could barely hold it. I had to get out. I had to run. I turned and bolted for the back door, not daring to look behind me. I could feel his presence, a cold spot in the air right where I'd been standing. I crashed through the door into the backyard, my lungs burning. I didn't stop. I vaulted the fence and just ran blindly into the darkness of the neighborhood. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't go back. I'm recording this now from a motel room 3 towns over. I haven't slept. Every time I close my eyes, I see him, standing in my living room, waving. I keep thinking about that wave. He wasn't waving at me. He was waving at his own reflection, superimposed over mine in the window pane. It was a greeting, a confirmation. I finally understand. He wasn't copying me. He wasn't mimicking my routine. He was practicing. He was rehearsing. All this time he was learning how to be me. And last night, I think, was opening night. I don't know what he wants, but I know he's in my house. My house, with my things, my life. And the most terrifying part? This morning at 6:30 a.m., the alarm on my phone went off. My work alarm, my routine. Which means somewhere back there, he's probably just getting up, making his coffee, my coffee, and getting ready to start the day. My day. So if you see a man who looks like me, driving my car, living in my house, please be careful. Because I'm out here, and he's in there. And I don't know which one of us is the reflection anymore. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there.